In today's lesson, we're going to be focusing on bar charts in Key Stage 2. I'm going to start by introducing bar charts, how to set out the bar chart, drawing in the bars. Then we're going to look at reading information from bar charts, and I'm going to then give you some ideas for activities at home and then give you a link to more information about line graphs and pie charts. First, you'll notice that we have two lines. These are called our axes. We have an axis that travels up and we have an axis that travels across. These are called our X and Y axes. I often hear people call the Y-axis Y into the sky. That might help you to remember that Y is the axis that runs up and X is the axis that runs along the bottom. If you have learnt coordinates, this is really useful because it's the same for coordinates. X tells us that we're going across to the left and right, and Y tells us that we're going up. Our Y-axis is usually the axis that shows the measurement of something. So it will tell us how much of whatever it is that we're representing. And the X-axis is usually the different categories. The first thing to note is that when you are labelling your Y-axis, is that we should always start with a 0 at the bottom and that we use the line to indicate the 0. We do not write 0. We do not write 0 here. It needs to go along the bottom so it lines up with this bottom line here. And then we need to make sure that we space our marks out equally. So for example, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Each interval is going up in 1. I cannot then suddenly put 7 here and then 10 here. The intervals need to be equal. I don't have to go up in 1s, I can go up in 2s. 2, 4, 6, 8. As long as my intervals are all 2. As long as they're all going up in 2. So I couldn't then here go to 14, then go to 20. I need to make sure that all my intervals are the same, that they're equal, going up, equally spaced, and that I keep with the same scale. I could also go up in bigger intervals. So for example, I could go up in 5s. Now what you would usually do is look at your data, look at your survey results. If your highest total, for example, is 50, then you going up in a scale of 2 is only going to get you up to 28. You wouldn't have enough space. So you would need to make sure that you use a scale that's going to fit all of your data on. So you would look at your data results from your survey and you would look at the largest number and then you would create your bar chart so that the largest number is going to fit on. So it could be going up in 1s, 2s, 5s, 10s even. You can even go up in 7s or 8s. You would need to look at your data, look at how much space you've got and then figure it out from there. Let's look at an example of a graph that is going to show favourite shapes. So here I've got the results of my survey. So I've asked everyone what their favourite shape is and I've put it into a tally chart, but I put the total in. So it's a frequency chart. Now I know that my largest number is 23. So I've made sure that I can fit 23 in. I've gone up in 2s. That takes me up to 28. So there's plenty of space to fit my highest data in. The next thing I need to do is to think about where I put my shapes. So the categories are along the bottom. And how I organise and lay out my categories is different to my numbers. So the numbers on the edges, remember they need to tally along, they need to line up on a line. It will be more obvious why when we put our bars in. But our category that we're measuring down the bottom, they do not go like this. I don't put my star there. I would do that for a line graph, but not a bar chart. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give my each shape, I'm going to give each shape a quite wide bar. So I'm going to put my star here, and it's going to have a width of 3. So I'm going to put my shapes along the bottom, and each shape is going to have a width of 3. So in between each shape would be there. Each shape has got a bar which is a width of 3. That's because I want to spread them out. I could put them in, they could have a column each like this, but then it's going to be very squashed. So my star has 12. So I would go to my star and I would go up 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. And I would draw in my bar. I can see the top of my bar runs along to the 12 on my y-axis. My triangle has 17. So here's my triangle bar, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, and 18. 17 is going to be halfway between 16 and 18. My intervals are 2. They're going up in even numbers. So my 17 is going to be in the middle. It's going to be halfway. So I would draw my bar in so that it was halfway. And if I drew a line across, it would hit 17. It would hit halfway between 16 and 17 on my y-axis. Looking at my pentagon next, I have 23. Again, it's an odd number. I'm going to go up my y-axis this time. There's 22, there's 24. So 23 is going to be in the middle. And I'm going to draw along this time. So I know the top of my bar is going to be here. And my diamond has 22. My last one was 23, so I know that 22 is just going to be along here. And finally, I have 5 for my parallelogram. I'm going to go along 2, 4, there's 6, 5 must be in the middle, and come across. And there's my 5. So I've drawn in all my bars. So you can see the tops of the bars. If I was to draw arrows over to the y-axis, it points directly at the number, which is why the numbers need to be on these lines. But the bars can spread across more than one column, but I want to put my category in the middle of the bar at the bottom. So it's very clear which bar relates to which shape. Once you've completed your bar graph, there are questions you could write for your bar graph, there are questions you could answer for your bar graph, or you could just write statements for your bar graphs. I'm going to show you some common questions about bar graphs. So we have some which are simply reading the information. What was the most popular shape? So here it's important to understand different mathematical words. So knowing that the word popular means most people chose it. So the most popular is going to be the bar that is the tallest, because our numbers are increasing on our y-axis. So the taller your bar, the more people chose it. So our most popular shape was our pentagon. Another common question, what was the least popular shape? So the least popular means it's had the least amount of people choose it. It's going to be the shortest bar. So it's going to be this one, which was our parallelogram. Only 5 people chose it. This is another common question, and it's also a question that I see people get wrong commonly, because it's thinking about the wording. How many more chose triangles than stars? How many more chose triangles than stars? What that is asking us is, it's telling us that more people chose triangles than stars. I can see by writing, I'm going to label my triangles 17 people chose and my stars 12 people chose. Now, I often see people write 17 for this answer, but it's how many more chose triangle than stars. So what it's actually asking us is to find the difference. Only 12 people voted for stars. How many more voted for triangles? 2, 4, 5. 5 more people chose triangles than stars. Or you could do 17 subtract 12. It's the same thing. Another common question. What shape had 6 less votes than pentagons? So pentagons, good idea to label it. Pentagons had 23. Which shape had 6 less? So what is 6 less than 23? So you might do 23 take away 6 equals 17. And then look for 17, look for the shape which had 17. So it would be halfway between 16 and 18, and you can go across and see that it's triangles. Or you might want to count down 6. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And again, we can see that it's triangles. How many chose diamonds, parallelograms, and stars all together? So diamonds, parallelograms, and stars all together. So here we need to add them up. So I have 12 for stars, 22 for diamonds, and 5 for parallelograms. So I would simply be adding my 3 numbers together. 12 and 22 is 34. Add my 5 is 39. So with this question, you need to add all of them together. How many people took part in the survey? This is another very common question. How would you know how many people took part in the survey? There is no information on your graph. We've got the title and I've got my bars in, but I don't know how many people took part. Well, what I could do is to add all the numbers up. So if I label all my bars, I can then add all the numbers up. Now you might want to do this individually, in pairs. So I could add these two, I could add these two, and then add them like that. Or you might want to write them in a long column. So I could do 12 plus 17 plus 23 plus 22 plus 5. You could do it like that. However you want to do it is fine. I am going to do it like this. 2 plus 7 is 9, plus 3 is 12, plus 2 is 14, plus 5 is 19. 1 plus 1 is 2, plus 2 is 4, plus 2 is 6, plus 1 is 7. So the answer is 79. 79 people took part in the survey. Please do check out the link either in the title description or the comments on this video, depending on where you're watching this video from. And it will take you to some downloads of a bar chart template and a pie chart template so that you can have a go at creating your own bar graphs and pie charts. I'm going to go through some ideas for questions you can use, but the templates are here so that you can draw in your bar chart or your pie chart. Now the pie chart, I have handily segmented it into 16 sections. So you can see each right angle, each quarter of a circle is worth 90 degrees. So if all of this is worth 90 degrees, then 2 of these are worth 45 degrees. And then 1 of these is worth 22 12.5 degrees. Or you could also say all of this is a quarter, which means that this section is an 1/8 and this section is a 1/16. It just gives you a bit more help with segmenting. You could also say that all of this is 25%, which means that 2 of these are 12.5%, and that 1 of these is 6.25%. So print those, download those, print those off, and you can use them to help you create some of your own bar charts and your own pie charts. Okay, here are some ideas for surveys that you could do. So you could be contacting people via email, WhatsApp, Zoom, however you are staying in touch with people. You could ask your parents if they could send out a post online or to their family members. But here are some ideas of surveys that you could conduct and then put your information into a bar chart or a pie chart. Now I've stuck with the theme of staying at home, as lots of us, well, all of us should be staying at home now. Most of us are staying at home. So it could be, what do you spend your time on most in a day? Now you could actually just create a bar chart or a pie chart based on just your own answers. So if you took the 24 hours of a day, how could you segment your hours up? So you could do a pie chart to show how your 1 day's worth of hours or 1 month's worth of hours is separated into different things. So I put some ideas on there: TikTok, doing homework, reading, playing games, cooking, listening to music, and I've put other in. You can put your own categories in. You do not have to use mine. These are just ideas. Another, or you could do that. You could do what you spend your time doing most in the day and separate your 24 hours. Or you could be asking people what is the one thing they spend most of their time doing, and you could put except for sleep, because sleep will probably be the largest thing. So what do you spend most of your time doing in a day while you're awake? And then you could do a graph or a chart to show the most popular activities that people are doing. What are people spending their most time on? It could be, what do you miss the most during school closure? Is it meeting friends? Is it going to school, going for walks, eating out, going shopping, seeing family, or other? And again, I bet you have loads more ideas. And my third idea for a survey is, what is a new skill you'd like to learn during school closure? So I've put on some ideas of things I want to learn, but you probably, again, have loads more ideas. So is it learning British Sign Language? Is it learning another language like French or Spanish or German? Is it learning an instrument? Is it learning new dishes to cook? Is it learning to do a handstand or the splits? Or maybe you want to learn how to do a keepy uppies and you want to beat your score. I bet there's loads of ideas you can come up with. So pick a survey, gather some data, and then print off my templates for bar charts or pie charts and see if you can present your data in a pie chart or a bar chart. I would love to see some of the data that you create. Please send them to me. You can send them to me on Facebook, on Instagram, via email at info@pocketprivatetutor.co.uk. I would love to see the surveys that you guys create. If you would like to learn more about how to create line graphs and pie charts, there is a lesson available on Pocket Private Tutor. The app is free to download, but you need to subscribe, which is $4.99 a month, to be able to access the pie chart and line graph lesson. The $4.99 would give you access for a complete month to every single learning objective in year 6. So there are loads of other learning objectives available as well. If you're in year 5, there's going to be lots of useful content there for you too. And if you're in year 7 or 8, there will probably still be useful content there for you too. There are plenty of things you learn in year 6 that you're still learning in year 7 and 8. So have a look for the Pocket Private Tutor in the app stores, and you can download that onto your phone, your tablet, or your iPad, or your laptop, and you can see some more information on how to create and read from pie charts. Check out the links in the comments for that free copy of our bar and pie chart template. Please do send me any completed pie charts or bar charts that you create using the questions to do with staying at home. Hope you've enjoyed the lesson.